Time to go. Shit!
No, wait! Just a second!
Navi?
You're awake. Good.
I must have been dreaming. Malus and Silver were still alive.
It looks like
Did all this happen?
the ruins you were exploring suffered a cave-in. You were just about... I think I saw 2 Oceanids protecting you. It was... Were it not for their intervention...
Wait, did you say
Perhaps those 2...
I always...
Please come with me.
Neverlet, are you okay?
Oh, I am quite...
Why do you look so... Oh, Paimon, no.
I merely thought that we should give Navia some time to herself.
Huh? Why didn't you just say so then? Don't you think it's even more awkward to come...
I suppose so. Ah, Sigewin.
No way, don't worry. She's doing fine down...
I see. Well, that is good. I have always worried that Sigewin would need a lot of time to understand the world of humanity, just as I have.
Oh, and the Duke also says hi. Even though Sigewin made him do that. He hopes that you haven't been overwhelmed by all that's happened lately.
Thank you. I have indeed been busy lately.
He still doesn't know what to talk about. Let's chat about something else then. So, Neverlet.
Yes, of course.
This isn't going anywhere.
Yes, in fact. I had arranged to meet you in Poisson, but when I arrived, I discovered that the Fatui were helping the residents evacuate. They had even transported a large quantity of supplies to the area. Amid my astonishment, I ran into the nave, and we had a...
Yeah, we originally...
I'm sorry to have kept you all waiting like that. I'm feeling much better now. I guess we should get going again. Will you come with us, Monsieur Neuvillette?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind my company.
All right! Another one joins the party! Let's get going then!
Shit!
Dada Kundala.
Oh no! Another unstable path! Watch your step!
The wind knows me.
Watch out! There are rocks falling over here!
Let me leave you a verse. Time to go!
One with nature.
It seems we're almost at the top. Keep it up!
Into the wind. Time to go. As one with wind and cloud.
Rain outlines your fate. Cross over! Huh?
Looks like we've reached the end.
This is the place. There should not be any other hidden spaces in the vicinity.
The path sure had some twists and turns, but it turns out that this place isn't actually that big.
Stone slates. It seems like they...
Perhaps we should just leave them be for now.
There are 4 locations in total, but only 3 stone slates. The slate...
The surrounding walls also show signs of damage.
There's something written below. Let Paimon see. Reason dictates that this nation be destroyed. I shall record the history of its future.
It feels like someone left these slates and these words here for a purpose. But does he mean that Fontaine should be destroyed?
That would fit the circumstances dictated by the prophecy, yes. Indeed, the slate's contents correspond to it. Take the second slate, for example.
There's a person kneeling here. She seems so dedicated.
And is that Lady Farina in the third image? Did the Hydro Archon fall into the water?
And is that a ring of people around her? Behind
The fourth image. I know this one. This exactly...
The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro... More information should be hidden in these slates, but I fear I cannot easily uncover it.
Don't blame yourself, Monsieur.
Ooh, the Paimon's getting the chills just... This says that it's the history of the future.
I really hope...
Still...
Huh. That's right! If the images are in chronological order, shouldn't the fourth, the waters drowning Fontaine, come before the third, where the Hydro Archon herself falls into the water?
And yet the order is reversed here.
If we go by timing, Lady Farina only emerges in the third image. That means that the person in the second image...
Egeria, then. I had never met her, but her appearance here does match the records. The previous Archon kneeling before the floating island in the skies, as if confessing a sin.
Did she herself commit that sin? And if not, why would she be in such a posture? Also,
But...
It seems that any further clues will have to come.
In that case, there's no...
Yeah, we better get somewhere safe for now.
Let's split up.
You still...
I'll depart as well. Thanks for your heart. Traveler, I will go talk to Farina tomorrow morning to ask about the stone slates. I'm sure that you're concerned about this matter as well. If you have time, drop by my...
Are you really gonna talk to...
She has long been...
Alright, we'll...
I will be carefully considering my words tonight.
Traveler, Paimon, our safe house at the Fleuve Cendre is... All right.
Welcome back. We've got a special menu prepared for you two.
Yay! And there's good food too! Ooh, dessert! Hyman's already starting to...
Oh, that voice. Is that who I think it is?
Huh?
It's you two. What are you doing in Fontaine? Seriously, nobody just uses a scry glass whenever they've got time to just see who they'll meet on the road.
Still, we didn't expect to see you here!
Well, I have some business to attend to here, so I booked a hotel in the city. I was just out for a stroll when I bumped into you. Why did you think I was from Fontaine, though? Is that because Magistus doesn't sound much like a Mondstatter surname?
Yeah!
Well, I used to have my own surname, which was, well, some other thing. Either way, the old hag told me when she took me as her disciple that the first step to being a great astrologist's pupil was to change that name. There was nothing for it, really. She really is amazing at astrology, so I changed my name to what it is now according to her wishes. To my surprise, however, Magistus is not the name of some ancient house or clan.
it isn't?
Nope. Although it is used by us in place of surnames, it generally just means great.
Wow! Imagine including a boast.
I reckon so. In any case, I'd give my disciple a name like this as well, if I were to take one. Astromancer Barbeloth Trismegist.
Whoa, that's a long...
My name means Mona the Great Astrologist. As for the old hag, hers is, in plain speech, the thrice-as-great Scholar of the Stars.
Thrice as great?
I know, right? That's just how she is. She used to call herself Megistus, actually, but when she took me in, she changed her name to Trismegistus.
Talk about excessive.
Megistus is thus the calling card of our school, so to speak, which makes it about the same as a surname. It's all right if you don't get it. You can look into...
That sounds terrible! But anyway, you're not Fontanian, are you, Mona?
Well, I was born in Mondstadt, yes. My parents migrated to Dornman Port, and I traveled with the old hag for a while.
Oh, that's a good thing then. At least we know you...
Speaking of that, I'm sure you're aware that a bunch of things have happened here in Fontaine, right? There's something ominous about it. Well, the water, I mean. That was the main reason, yes. The invitation was sent quite early on.
What do you make of that prophecy, Mo?
What I can tell you is that I'm an astrologist. And that this prophecy... I'm afraid that this... But on the flip side...
A visionary?
Of course. The old hag could do it. And I'd bet there are others amongst those Hexenzirkel colleagues of hers who could do something similar. Huh?
Thanks, Mona. You're a...
Oh, well, this is something only I can do after all. So yes, your praises are quite welcome.
That's the greatest of astrologists for you!
Indeed, indeed.
Oh, sorry. I came to see what all the commotion was about. If there's anything you need, do not hesitate.
Oh, whoops. Guess we were getting a little too carried away there. Well, I'll go tend to my own business now. If I receive any news, I'll be...
And there she goes, quick as rushing water. And here we are with the Spina guy giving us suspicious looks. If Paimon hadn't spoken for you, it'd be... that's more like it. Good morning. To be honest, Paimon's still feeling kind of sleepy. But it's time to get up, traveler.
I don't get to buy...
But my research had so much potential.
On the right path.
Oh, ow! Where did that come from?
No, I really need those parts. What's taking him so long? I guess
Good things come to those who don't wait around.
Research had so
That's what they
much
say anyway.
potential.
Knowing my luck, the opposite is probably true for me.
Oh, ow! Where did that come from?
What's taking him so long? I guess
But my
I'm
research
finally
had
on the
so
right
much
path.
potential!
Benny's Adventure Team, assemble! Oh. Oh. Or not.
But my research had so much potential!
Let's go find some treasure.
No, I really need those parts. What's taking him so long? I guess I'm finally on the
Oh,
right path.
ow! Where did that come
But my
from?
research had so much potential!
No, I really need those parts. What's taking him so long? I guess I'm finally on the right path.
Good things come to those who don't wait around. That's what they say anyway. Knowing my luck, the opposite is
My
probably
research
true for
had
me.
so much potential!
Oh, ow!
No, I really
Where did
need
that
those
come from?
parts. What's taking him so long? I guess I'm finally on the right path.
But my
Benny's
research
Adventure
had so
Team,
much
assemble!
potential!
Oh. Oh. Or not.
No, I really need those parts. What's taking him so long? I guess I'm finally on the right path.
But my research
Let's
had
go
so
find some
much
treasure.
potential!
Oh, ow! Where did that come from?
No, I really need those parts. What's taking him so long?
Adventuring underground is way
I
more
guess
fun
I'm
than
finally
I thought.
on the right path.
But my research had so much potential!
Benny's Adventure Team, assemble! Oh.
What's taking him so long?
Oh. Or not.
But my
guess I'm
research had so
finally on
much
the right
potential!
Oh, ow! Where did that come from?
No, I really need those
Adventuring
parts.
underground is
What's taking
way
him so
more
long?
fun than I thought.
But my research had so much
Finally on the right
potential!
path.
Good things come to those who don't wait around. That's what they say anyway. Knowing my luck, the opposite is probably true for me.
No, I really need those parts. I guess I'm finally on the right path.
But my research had so much potential!
Benny's Adventure Team, assemble! Oh. Oh. Or not.
I guess I'm finally on the right path.
Oh, ow! Where did that come from?
No,
But my research had so much potential!
I guess
Benny's adventure team, assemble! Oh. Oh.
I really need those.
Or not.
But my research had so much potential!
I guess I'm finally on the right path.
Oh, ow! Where did that come from?
But my research had so much potential!
What's taking him so long?
No one's joined me on an adventure in ages. Come on, let's go!
But my research had so much potential!
Oh, ow! Where did that come from?
I guess I'm finally on the right path.
Benny's adventure team, assemble!
Potential!
I need those parts. What's taking him so long?
Or not.
I guess I'm finally on the right path.
Off we go!
You're here! Finally! Monsieur Durvalette and Lady
Like I said, I've already explained everything!
And yet the problem has not been properly solved. There is little space. It is not my intention to offend you, but please, tell me where you stand. Look at this. This is a list of...
You mean...
We did not arrive in time to avert this disaster. I will say this once more. Yesterday, I found 3 stone slates in some...
Seriously? You're questioning me like this is a court case now. But...
That's correct. Which is... the second of the...
I don't.
I'll ask you my disciple...
All gods don't have the same secrets, you know. She was herself and I'm me. Is it really so strange? I understand your concern.
Forgive me for saying this now, Lady Farina, but I have long known of your various secret investigations. There are several indications that you have been investigating. This is not strange in itself, considering that you are the Hydro Archon. But it is strange that you should also claim to not know any of Egeria's secrets, as well as do nothing. You have never been as...
So you've been watching me all this time, have you?
I didn't think you were that type.
You...
Well, since you know about my secret investigations, then you should know I'm actually working to take care of it. There's no point questioning or suspecting me. You're the Eudix, but you're still my subordinate. You should be following my lead. Just trust in me, your archon, and do as I say. Never mind whether you can truly convince yourself to or not. It'll all turn out fine. That's all I have to say. We do not discuss this matter again. Oh, the opera's about to start. Toodles!
Did Farina not notice us standing by the door? Wonder what's up with her. She was smiling. She didn't seem in the mood to care if we were listening in or not.
I assume you've been outside for a while now?
Oh, you noticed.
She was in a great panic, though I cannot discern the reason. Still, I do not understand. Everyone in her inner we may have to...
Oh?
Normally, people will...
But
We will need to consider this thoroughly. If at all possible. This may be cruel to her, but... But who will lend us their aid to...
well, that's everyone, huh? Speaking of which, it was pretty smart of you to think of hiding here.
Poisson was just involved in a disaster, so it's presently devoid of people. That naturally makes it the best choice.
And here you are drinking tea like it's the most natural thing in the world, huh?
That's what families should do. Sit and enjoy a leisurely time together.
It's nice to enjoy tea here, you know? Care for a cup?
Lend me your ears, everyone. Or perhaps one of you might like to start us off.
Me?
Then, how about you?
I fear that I will cause the mood on this boat to become...
Well then, I guess we're lucky we've got a local like me to organize things.
That was a little long-winded, don't...
Oh, you might be right. Anyway, to cut to... As for what that is, well, let's start by saying that we'll be...
Oh?
Well, it's...
Huh?
Oh, come now. Your work doesn't involve much public speaking, right? This is a good...
I see.
He is glad that you consider him your boss.
In that case, do any of you have experience?
Not that I recall.
Fremine and I once used a wooden stick in a basket to catch wild rabbits when we were younger. As for Lynette,
I've also gone diving.
I'm afraid not. You may or may not have heard, but Fontaine once, though that was their name, they did not hunt animals, but rather various monsters left behind by the ancient... Today, Fontaine's monster, a trap, comprises... So, If we were to build...
For me, I would prefer something basket. Our line of work requires a...
You use some of those techniques while moving.
Yes, and
I'm afraid I can't claim that as...
And I can...
With discretion.
I remember that...
I did.
What about you, Monsieur Neville?
I fear I...
That makes sense. But I do have one more. If we were to create... If we wanted to kill the prey in one strike, we would need a powerful implement. However, that also...
Wait.
Only a hunter...
Huh.
If our means of capturing and dealing with our prey is to put them on trial, but we shall require much more courage.
Oh.
Rise with the sun! Light it up!
It's been a tough few days. Paimon thought they'd be at least a little frightened. Well, Fremine was, now that Paimon thinks... it's hard to say. After all, you're the most reliable person... did you just pour some... Paimon's never...
Don't be And yet, even you feel confused. Precisely. Call me the prophecy.
What?
People call such things fate, and it is written. Just as prophecy are the things that...
What is she talking...
I believe that you understand ultimately.
The voice. Hey, it's you!
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively banter.
Mona!
Fine, just fine. I went to take part. Not all Fontanians are pessimistic about this.
Did she have pink hair by any...
Why, yes, it was Charlotte. I assume you've heard. I'm in full support of her view. Prophecies are very important, but how can people allow their lives to be common?
That's right!
Yes. About what we... Huh? Goodness gracious. Are you...
She said that even the gods get...
The Hexen Circle members are certainly anything but ordinary, but I've never met.
Whoa.
Their abilities alone...
Well, it's not like...
Yes, she was quite... Perhaps it is something that you cannot know right now. Traveler, Paimon?
Oh, we're fine.
I see. I guess you could consider me someone who has often witnessed, but even so, perhaps that's what En was trying to... I did originally think...
You do have a point.
There, it was worth trying, I suppose.
Paimon feels kinda moved by what Mona said. Hey, Traveler. Let's walk around the city, shall we? There's a few spots we always like to walk by.
Adventuring underground is way more fun than I thought.
Am I imagining things? Or is all this making me dizzy?
Burn it down! Which is more valuable? Unlimited Light it up!
Huh? Our names are written in this newspaper. Let Paimon see! The underwater stronghold, the Fortress of Meripede, has continued my recent attempts. Thus, did an Outlander friend become the... So while the fortress is... Journalist Charlotte's... Huh. Charlotte took so many... She hasn't been able to get a hold of anything. Ugh, seriously? We're here! Paimon's... Hey, quick! Look! That's the limited edition only 16 slices a day cake! It was so delicious the last time we tried.
One slice of cake, please.
Someone showed up after. Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia.
Oh, are you here to buy cake too?
Wait,
That's right.
do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Every day?
It's part of my daily...
Then what if someone told you one day that this place would be closing soon?
But why would it close?
Well, Paimon...
Oh, the prophecy. To be honest, I haven't paid much attention to that. No. Still, even if there... No. It's the same for eating in general. You might not be able to eat tomorrow, but if you can do so today, then you should carry on. That's what people call living, you know.
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have 2 more slices of cake to... These 2 slices are for you. Sijuin said that this kind of
Oh, you know Sijuin?
I sure do. She was born before me, and she sometimes comes to the surface to teach us things about humans. She said that humans... I've got something else to do, so I'll...
And there she goes. All right, let's dig in. It's more delicious than last time, and the flavor gets even better with a sip of tea. It sure would be nice if we could come again tomorrow. Sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious food here.
What exactly?
Art is the key ingredient in fine dining.
Wow! If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon...
Ha! You've got some nerve!
Oh, you needn't worry. It's all right, though.
Really?
You're...
Oh, Paimon...
Still, what brings...
A friend of ours...
Ah, so you... So she mentioned...
She said that you're a... Huh?
Oh, of course it doesn't. That was...
Yeah, are we?
Why not?
Oh, and that...
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! Ooh, so much to...
Wait, Charlotte, Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that?
If, just for example...
Huh, that's... If you're seriously asking, that from what I've seen... So in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping it. Just think about it. If this nation really were to be suddenly destroyed tomorrow, but I still... And then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that... I'm not a dreamer, but anyway...
That's... So... Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we? Paimon's been thinking... If it wasn't Fontaine, but... no, we've always been moving to the next... You mean... Still trapped? Huh. better than...
Ah, so the two of you are still here.
Oh, you're from the Palais
Yes, I'm Isadora. Not at all. Yes, and...
A riot?
Well, that's... Lady Furine loudly accusing... And before she could... The crowd continued to grow.
So people have started...
I agree.
So what happened to...
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of... The Marechaussee
So...
That's right. That said, I don't think there's... Good.
Don't worry.
Ah, is that...
Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then. If we know and as we... When Nervalet was... It would be hard... Paimon thinks... Huh. Well, what do you... In that case...
Burn it down!
That's Farina, right over there! She really is here all on her own.
What was meant to happen? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but what can I even do? Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina.
They even dare to tout their archon. Oh, and I'm sure...
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are...
Farina just ran off! Quick, we have to catch up! This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here!
What?
Hurry, they're almost here!
Fine, I suppose... No, I mean, I'm merely...
Yep, that's a good girl.
What's happening? The ground's shaking. Is it an earthquake?
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, didn't it?
It can't be.
Well, there's no need to worry
Yeah, but the people of Poisson...
It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds of years. I once had informants all over. I've tried all, but oh my, we cannot make an enemy of the. Give up. Indeed. Fate is, but just now. It all, as long as the. Don't worry.
Well, that's enough for now. Don't take any.
Come on!
Cher, that's impossible. A witness.
And if to
Ladies and gentlemen, this now, without further ado.
So, this is what it is. Yes, you do not forget, however, that
May I interpret these words? As your in that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor.
You would draw your blade. I see. It seems like you have made up.
Paimon can't believe it. She just surrendered.
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an archon surrender to a...
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Lady Farina, what is the
Shh! It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding.
Looking for excuses?
I raised my hands just... I'm sorry.
You are not the only ones to be.
But now, I, Farina, will use this trial to show the this time. Applaud and mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine! The trial of the...
Woohoo! Oh, no! Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole... Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic...
All right, then. Who will be...
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so? Very well. Then, please... Also, please allow just how much work
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to this.
Navia, the president of the Spina di Rasula.
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. A spark was all we needed to turn smoldering anger into a flame. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, When something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by yourself. So, we arranged for a second group to lie in wait there.
So, you mean... the ones who scoured the...
And their goal was to force you to...
That's right.
As the super ultimate, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson was an arc. My thanks, Farina. Without... Of course, this performance, we had to select a...
So, in other...
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster.
Then, you gathered a crowd. Prepare to stay. Also that...
Yes, that is...
Well, Clorand, As for you, you'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor.
Oh?
It's fine. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. The stage...
Sir Prosecutor, please allow me to... This is a doc...
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here. Oh, let Paimon see. So in other words, we can refer... Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, all right?
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duels you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the history books, all right. This is the words, according to Monsieur Neuvillette. Both child and that whale should have been in the primordial sea at that time.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, just fast forward. Of course. It is only now.
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your Instead...
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking her duty, but did I hear that right? She's...
Charge accepted. Lady Farina, do you plead... Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine...
Yeah, even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric.
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure, Lady Farina...
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. There would be no fooling. See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the god...
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? We have to not only refute Farina's claims, but also overturn the long-held beliefs of the people.
Well, I tried. And if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
That doesn't sound right. First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways to extend your life.
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave?
A curse. I once thought it possible that the aura of an archon might naturally, but in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
Neverlet sensed it too, huh?
Lady Farina.
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by looking at them. It's not impossible.
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods. For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house, or consider the indemnitium that is used in every aspect of life.
That doesn't sound right. You tried to reference the Oratrice, but weren't you as confused as all the rest of us?
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the god—
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstance. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges.
I never thought.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, instead of having been created—
The real Hydro Archon. It is true that I did not know why the but the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratrice.
My power as—
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to
you don't need to go that far.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less—
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people. Thus did I give up all of my—
Isn't that?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called—
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone. I'm still the same for— Please?
If what the prosecutor said is true,
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And all of our ancestors? Ever since they were born?
Enough! That's enough. Tell me then, if you have no—
Wow, she came up with yet another— that doesn't sound— that doesn't sound— that doesn't— It has been established that all Fontainians humans can
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the
Super sorry. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone, including those... So, Miss Farina, if we are to believe that you are in... But, if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I do hope you'll act prudently.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina...
If Lady Farina's indeed...
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally...
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to part...
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word.
What's going on? Is she...
Due to the inherent...
Hey!
I'm fine! Look at me, Will you believe me now? I really am your archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water! Really?
Miss Siegewing, if you're present, Miss...
Siege? Don't be nervous. It'll just take...
Please announce the results of...
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms. She was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar concentration.
Thank you, Miss Siegewing.
Oh, wait. What did she just say?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems... However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve in action. We don't want anyone...
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low... It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used.
I can't... Listen to me, everyone! Think about it! Also... Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me! I swear, I really am your...
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone who's too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is... guilty. We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges. According to the judgment, of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale. Farina is...
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's...
No, the Oratrice...
Isn't that correct?
However, the exact word to be punished via the death sentence.
The death sentence?
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was just a myth.
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court, and it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as...
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice?
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, is this sentence really appropriate?
Yeah! Even Fauché wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Farina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon. What does this mean?
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial
Fremine! Oh, you finally made it. I assume this means you've completed your mission?
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigns to me will always be top priority.
Is that the first prophecy? Huh. So the knave privately...
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. It took me a long time to get... But has the trial already concluded? Then...
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left on the slate. Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates, and would like you to come here and confirm their contents.
Huh? So what do you see? What is it?
I believe I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Farina. So when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the...
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine... However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense...
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other three... Stone slate describes... Does that mean that the second stone slate... This must be the point... The third slate shows... Huh. Well, the fourth slate... We didn't believe that such a... That doesn't... That doesn't... That doesn't... That doesn't... That doesn't...
Perhaps the... and the... The prophecy, the fortress of Meropide was nearly if we hadn't dealt with it in time. Things could have... We know from the case, and this might be the reason that Fontainians can dissolve. It's not as simple. When Navia fell, the stone slates show the people gathered around.
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea, but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means that her sin was actually Fontaine's original sin. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness, and was forced to take part in... The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meripede was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass no matter... The stone slate's contents can all be verified by recent events. Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now! But then it feels like...
Let's hear them.
Incredible.
We're...
All Fontainians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontainians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned into Oceanids. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial, all of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia by creating humans without prior permission. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that ancient sin.
The Hydro Archon's true sin?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese. The twists of history are often the most
Yeah, so wouldn't it be trying to show the... In the end, did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must... However, while you were able to decode all the information when we were at the ruin, now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another... I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all your hypotheses regarding the origin. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the seven, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life. Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontainians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, The Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true...
So we were all Ocean?
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to... Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating us.
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontanian.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate. A key point of the visual, they have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as... You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, Therefore, the mean that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice. Yes,
I think I'm following now. So, in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly...
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled.
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled?
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deduction about the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass, yes? However, as for the root cause of the catastrophe... This eruption was just a...
It was both
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could...
the truth.
That was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the Opera House? Wait, was that the huge...
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it is... That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars, weeping all the while. It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. That is... And once it has finished consuming...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontanians out of Oceanids...
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontanians not... Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make it...
We just barely managed...
That is correct. From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we definitely didn't expect it to help us. Anyway, Now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster recorded in the prophet...
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this point, even if the entirety of Tevat were to be destroyed, it could still survive and swim off towards some other world.
That's not so... We've already done everything we can. We've come so far. You can't...
Indeed, that's not...
I'll fight it to the end. No matter what.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future. Just as... Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future. All you need to do is to play your part.
What's happening with the oratories?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Farina!
No, I still need answers.
You...
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
You are not Farina. Who are you?
Ah, the sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor. You know.
Focalor? Why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand any chance of deceiving the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principles?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria, for the uninitiated. It hardly gets more disastrous than a preordained national catastrophe, now does it? She knew full well that, and as one of the seven, she also knew full well that, One defies the... So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather... I spent a terribly long time mulling it over. Alone on the ocean, I had to outwit the heavenly principles. I'm a genius, I know. Although, looking back now, it was hardly... But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than...
So you were also once one of...
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, to be human is to be part of the greatest opera ever known. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered. The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, she could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could... But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human. Anyway, all part of the plan, of course. The plan to... Do you still remember the final scene? In order that under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play the... I suppose now you probably understand.
But Farina is only human. Even though she has had a long life, her mind... I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, it's been 5, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely...
Rise with the sun!
Oh? Who permitted you to come onto this stage? All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. I am Focalor. Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough.
One with nature.
Clear the area! My name! I must honor it.
Time to go. Into the wind. Clouds high. The birds call. One with nature. Fallen leaves adorn my night.
Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards,
Wait, there are the guards! Guards! Let's light it up! Huh? Adventure time! Let's light it up! Huh?
As one with wind and cloud!
I'm going in! Light it up! The flame burns on.
Wind strider!
Let's light it up!
That hurts! Fallen leaves, adorn my night! Wind strider!
Adventure!
Farina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are...
Be not nervous. Be not afraid.
Wait a moment. You're... Mirror me? How... Mirror me.
The prophecy.
What prophecy? The people...
Oh.
What's... But...
I will tell you.
Oh, but if there were...
I suppose this would...
Huh?
Don't worry. It's nothing.
Play act...
That's right. If you can keep...
But...
Don't worry. Being a human yourself, remember...
I'm still not sure. So, how long...
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage for many, many years. You will endure, but I promise you, all will...
A trial, huh? What should I say to most of people? I'm sure you've all heard. In truth, as the god Focalor, once again, thank this. I thought I might stammer, but...
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be a bit more assertive.
Hey,
Did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest.
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen. She might just...
Wait, what's going... Right. Calm down, Farina. Assertive. Now, I was wondering if... you may Now then!
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we...
Her personality. It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Her future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, we have heard it said that No, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want me to play. The scales, may law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. Let us... There is no trouble, so long as
Yes! Oh, yeah!
Lady Farina, here are today's case reports, as well as a summary of the follow-up for your perusal.
Come now. Was I not just at the Opera House in person? Leave these kinds of things to Neuvillette. Besides...
If I'm...
A magnet...
That's true,
No need for fright. And do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now.
Lady Farina,
No need. All right.
Here...
Lady Farina.
I see. It's as I thought that all manner. Really?
I'm...
Finally, but it's good to maybe this is...
Lady Farina, here are the new trial reports for the latest cases as...
They'll...
Lady Farina.
Indeed, my...
Lady Farina, we're detecting...
Understood. I feel...
Lady Farina, I've heard that the first member... Are you crying?
This must be the overflow
overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god whose dominion is the waters, can I?
No wonder. No wonder. A manifestation of your power.
So, and hundreds of years must have passed by now. Perhaps I never imagined, have I? I want to tell someone, anyone I've conducted. All I can do is keep.
Farina, you don't have to shoulder this burden although I don't know.
Share. That's impossible.
But even if you're just share it with me.
A witness. And if Tevat... He's right. I could confide in him, couldn't I? But if things don't play out... No, Farina. You But what if... Farina, you've worked so hard for so... Is it such... If you let this opportunity slip through your fingers, it might never come by again. Think about it. Long and hard. No, I have nothing to say. I am Farina, the Archon of Fontaine. Everything will surely... All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness my...
Fine.
So even Farina...
Yes, she did very well. If she had let her resolve falter, it seems that trusting...
I believe that I understand how your deception... How would you build on it?
Ah, good, good. Of course the Eudex of Fontaine has I'm sure you've long...
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Linny did mention that he heard a It now seems that that person...
And then I became one with the Oratories, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes. Alas, your understand... In truth, it is no enactor... Oh, you have it. My work over these last 500 years... But really, the vast majority has been... Had to be.
It was all part of your plan.
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontainians for millennia, had it only been used for that purpose. Almost all of it has now been stored within the Oratories. But only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydro Archon's divine throne, shaking the rules established by Celestia, and breaking through the institution that is the Seven.
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Farina nor Focalor, but for the destruction of that divine throne.
Returning what's right. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the High... Oh, what? The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be...
All you've done throughout the...
I've never quite seen it. Hydro Dragon. I must say, Had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge the Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea. And the heavenly prince. I, for my part, am the god of justice. Speaking of justice, I have always believed that So, if the theft of the primordial sea's might was Fontaine's original sin, then, leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent of the Fontanians as humans and their right to exist in this world would be Fontaine's original justice. In other words, existence was Egeria's justice, and to me, justice is the continuation of that existence. Defying the prophecy and ensuring that Fontaine's people shall live on, that should be the justice enthroned over all others. At this point, Iudex Neuvillette.
So when I was invited, at last, in the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of you are things being as they are. Surely you know that I could never declare them to.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Neuvillette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
I, Iudex Neuvillette, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
What just happened? Has the death sentence been carried out?
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection?
But since we're all still alive and haven't been...
It's time to end this. We must mete out punishment to that beast. I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means, I now have the ability to separate the power of the primordial. We should seize the opportunity to pursue our traveler. Now that the oratories can no longer function, I require an executor to help me mete out just the root of the calamities befalling Fontaine. The beast, come with me, traveler. Best to separate the power of the primordial sea from the whale. But considering the size of the beast, I cannot reach the power source. Unless we can find a way to attack it from within. I shall share a part of the dragon's power with you. We shall look for an opening together. I can feel its sorrow turning into hostility.
Into the wind! Clouds high, the birds call!
The all-devouring narwhal cannot resist its instinct to devour. Continue to trigger its hostility. It will present itself. I have granted you my protection. Do not fear. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its root from within.
Fallen leaves, adorn my night! Wind strike!
Manifest the authority of the ancient dragons. Witness the might of the primordial sea.
Into the wind. Time to go. Wind strike. As one with wind and cloud. One with nature. Never again.
Couldn't break.